A map is the book of the landscape, and, like a book, it can be read. A map enables you to visualize the landscape. Take 6 grid squares and see just how much information they contain. First, the shape of the land. Here there are 3 main divisions. An area of hills in the upper left, an area of hills in the lower right, and an area of lowland between. The main feature of the upper left is a knoll. It has a spot height for its summit, 75 meters, and is called Healed Brow. It falls quite steeply to the lowland and is separated from a finger of upland to the north by a low col. The other area of upland is higher, but slopes more gradually to the lowland. We can make out 2 gentle spurs with a re-entrant between them. The lowland between the hills has no contours and only 1 spot height for 5 meters, which is very low indeed. Most of the lowland, too, is covered with a marsh symbol, which tells us the land is flat and poorly drained. The streams are unusually geometrical, probably because they've been straightened to help drainage. This is the skeleton of our landscape. Now clothe it. Woodland. Woods cover about half of our upland. They obscure the physical shape of the land, though they can't entirely hide it. Woodland always affects visibility. Communications. A railway crosses our area north to south. So does a road. Another road crosses the col. Road and railway cross the stream by bridges, and the railway has an embankment here too. Habitation. The long, straggling village of Silverdale appears in our extreme top left. Around it, assorted separate farms and houses. There's only one other village, the much smaller one of Cragfoot. This is the map as we see it, built up from the various features we've singled out. But there's a snag. The mapmaker's view is a bird's eye view, an aerial view as from a helicopter. But we're on the ground, and so we have to adjust our visualization of the map. Let's take a central position and look around at the landscape on the ground. We'll stand by this level crossing. The railway here runs almost due north. To its right, part of the marshy lowland, just as the map tells us. Now we'll look clockwise round our area. The lowland is certainly flat and marshy. Poor country to cross after a spell of wet weather. Behind it, one of our upland areas, well wooded, with the cover of trees hiding the small spurs and re-entrant. That must be the village of Cragfoot. Back to the road across the lowland and on to the embankment which carries the railway across the stream. Healed Brow stands out well. And to its right, the col which links it with neighbouring hills. Silverdale village, on the other side of the col, is hidden from our view, a blind area. And so, back to where we started. From the map, we've been able to visualize our area fairly well. Though from our central position, we've been able to see only half of it. What we see depends on where we stand. So let's move northwards, near to Silverdale railway station, where the ground is a little higher. This is the view southeast. Now, set the map. This simply means orientating the map to correspond with our viewpoint. We'll set the map along a line drawn from our viewpoint to Crag Foot, and turn it until our viewpoint is to the foot of the map as we hold it. The line on the map and our actual line of view should correspond. When they do, the map is set and easier to read. To our left, the marshy lowland, with wooded hills behind, much as we saw before. Crag Foot again, and the road, and railway. While because we're higher, we can now see across the lowland to Morecambe Bay. But we're looking along the second piece of upland rather than at it. So Heald Brow and the Col are in a blind area. The map can tell us this. It can indeed tell us what we can see of a landscape from any single viewpoint. Take a look now at another area with a quite different character. Our position is by this small road junction, and we're looking north. There are a great many contours, often close together, so this will be a hilly area with some steep slopes. The main feature is a spur falling away in height to the right, and then rising to a small knoll, spot height 203 meters. Between spur and knoll is a col. All the land on the other side of the col will be in a blind area. Just what we see. Spur, falling to the right, col, and knoll. The contours can tell us more. On this slope, they're more widely spaced at top and bottom than they are in the middle. So the slope will be convex at the top and concave at the bottom. Parts of the slope will be steep enough for cliffs. From the map, we have been able to visualize not only the landscape, but what we'll see of it from our viewpoint. Now for two areas of ground which are not all they might appear to be from a glance at the map. First, around Killington Reservoir. Our position is on this small spur, looking southeast across the lake with the motorway behind us. Next, set the map. This is an upland area. We're standing by the 230-metre contour. Most of the land before us is about the same height. The lake has two islands, one quite large, both wooded. To the left is the valley of a stream entering the lake. The highest point is a hill, spot height 236 metres. Overall, there's a lack of marked features. We're quite high up, but the land is rather flat. The actual view confirms this. There are the two islands, but the hill hardly stands out at all. It's a gently undulating stretch of fell country, high without being hilly. Lastly, a low-lying area. Our position will be near this farmhouse, and we'll look west towards the motorway. What kind of country will we see? Most of it is between the 30 and 40-metre contours. To our right, northwards, it falls gently away to a canal and the valley of the River Keer. To our left, southwards, the land rises gently to the village of Overkellet. Before us stretches 1,000 metres of country, with only one contour line for 40 metres to indicate any degree of undulation. The ground would seem to be pretty flat. But it isn't. This is the view from our position, turning from looking west to looking north. We can see barely 100 metres, never mind 1,000. The road down to the Keer Valley seems, if anything, to slope upwards away from us. To our left, southwards, it's the same picture of essentially rolling country. There are quite a few trees, too, which the map doesn't show, but which do affect visibility. While behind the farm, there's even a small cliff about 10 metres high, and a distinct feature of the landscape, but still not quite big enough to be included on the map. So contours can't always tell us what we want to know about the shape of the land. Their absence doesn't necessarily mean an absence of ups and downs. Land can be low without being flat, and high without being hilly. So though maps can tell us a great deal, and we can often infer a great deal more, only reconnaissance can definitely confirm our findings.